absolutely crushed by what we believe is going to be one of the worst teams in the league. But I got to tell you, when it was starters versus starters, it didn't turn out so well. It did not turn out so well. And many fans today are screaming from the top of the mountain what they've been saying since the draft. We got absolutely destroyed.
Something felt off before the Fever even faced Dallas. Usually, the team's energy felt loud, confident, and excited. This time, it looked tense. Fans quickly saw why. Sophie Cunningham wasn't moving normally during warm-ups. At first, no one knew how serious it was. The broadcast barely mentioned it, and players tried to stay calm, but cameras kept catching strange reactions from the bench. Then, everything shifted before the game even began. The injury story around Sophie Cunningham had already become one of the biggest topics in women's basketball. Fans were frustrated. Many felt the physical play against Fever players had crossed the line. After the previous game, anger online exploded when clips of the collision involving Breanna Stewart spread everywhere. Slow-motion edits, reaction videos, and comment sections filled with debate. Some called it normal basketball. Others believed Fever players were being targeted too aggressively. Now, heading into Dallas, the tension felt impossible to ignore. Then cameras showed Lexie Hull, and fans noticed something unusual. She looked angry, not emotional, not nervous, but angry. She spoke intensely with teammates during warm-ups and even slammed a towel into a chair near the bench. Broadcasters ignored it, but fans online caught it instantly. Meanwhile, Dallas looked confident, with one name drawing attention: Paige Bueckers. The crowd buzzed every time she touched the ball. Everyone knew the storyline: Paige versus Caitlin. Two of the biggest names, constantly compared, now facing off again on a major stage. When the game tipped off, Dallas came out fast, very fast. The Fever struggled early. Shots weren't falling, rotations looked messy, and the short roster showed quickly. Commentators mentioned fatigue almost immediately. Indiana lacked depth. Dallas attacked relentlessly, while Paige stayed composed, controlling the pace and hitting tough shots.
Woo! Fans are not missing on this post. If you can't find some rebounds, there won't be many wins this season. I mean, yeah. Totally outcoached. White absolutely sucks, and the moron owner's keeper, and the loser cocks around. This was embarrassing loss and proved how bad a coach White is. Boy, I got to tell you. Time is great, and tonight, we urged them to sign Passat, plus also the mess that the Three Stooges made at the draft by getting midgets. People are pissed. Maybe, just maybe, you can get rid of some of the mini point guards you have and get a effing big. I mean, wow. You watched the game last night and you're like, the Wings have towers out there. He got some folks out there, tall folks. Again, it's preseason, but that first half was an indictment. That first half was an indictment. Look, I wasn't the biggest proponent.
Every big Dallas play made the crowd louder, and social media reacted instantly. Some fans said the Fever were about to collapse. Others claimed Paige was already taking over. For a few minutes, it looked true. Then the camera cut back to the Fever bench. Lexie Hull stood near the sideline, shouting toward the court. The frustration was clear because Dallas kept attacking, and Indiana looked completely out of rhythm. Then, something changed, something that flipped the entire energy. Caitlin Clark checked back in, and the arena reacted immediately. The crowd erupted before she even touched the ball because, even while struggling, fans believed Clark could change everything in a moment. Within seconds, she did. First possession, she pushed the pace, crossed half court, scanned the defense, and fired a perfect pass through traffic for an easy basket. The arena exploded. Next possession, deep three, nothing but net. Suddenly, everything shifted. Dallas looked stunned as the Fever offense transformed. The pace increased, spacing opened, and Clark controlled it all. Then came the moment everyone would replay. Clark pushed in transition. Paige picked her up near midcourt, and the crowd rose instantly. You could feel the tension. Everyone knew this matchup mattered. Clark hesitated, hit a quick crossover, stepped back, and launched a deep three over the defense. Splash. The entire building erupted. Even the commentators lost composure because it felt bigger than just 3 points. It felt personal. The Fever bench came alive. Lexie Hull screamed in celebration. Teammates jumped up, and even those frustrated earlier were energized because Clark had flipped the momentum by herself. Meanwhile, social media exploded again. Fans clipped the sequence instantly, and within minutes, videos comparing Clark and Paige flooded the internet. Some called it the defining moment. Others said Dallas lost control right there. And honestly, it felt true.
Fever were out-rebounded 45-26, outscored 50-30 in the paint. Again. But Aaliyah Boston wasn't in there. Okay. 13 points, 8 boards. It's against the Wings. And in the first half, the game plan didn't work against the starters. Starters on starters, you still lost the game and got destroyed in the second quarter. I mean, God. It's crazy as hell. It really will. Save your money, people. White at the helm, bad coaching, not worth giving him our money to pay the front office in white. Guess what, folks? I'm going to tune you into something. The Indiana Fever better recognize something. You know what everybody has noticed? Regardless of how they cover this team, how pro Indiana Fever they are in WNBA, or how anti-Stephanie White they are, blah, 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 blah. You know what everybody's noticed? The interest in this team is down. And how do we know? We're talking to people all across the spectrum, and everybody's analytics are down. No matter how pro or con you are, that fire, Stephanie White, what they did last year with that injury, I keep telling you guys, it has hurt this situation. Here we are right here. Paige Bueckers, of course, she got the top performer from the WNBA. I mean, look again. Yeah. I mean, 21 points, 4 assists in 16 minutes. The top performer was Caitlin Clark. No one literally guarded her like they did Cece. They were picking up Cece down court.
From that point on, Clark completely took over. Another assist, another transition bucket, another impossible pass through defenders. Dallas tried different coverages. Nothing worked. Clark read every adjustment before it happened. Then came another emotional moment. Cameras briefly showed Sophie Cunningham on the bench reacting to a Clark highlight. She stood up cheering, still visibly uncomfortable. The crowd noticed instantly, and the Fever story turned emotional again. Now it felt like they were fighting for something bigger than one game. By the fourth quarter, the arena felt chaotic. Dallas had lost momentum completely. Paige kept battling, but every Fever possession now flowed through Clark. The crowd grew louder each time because they knew they were watching something special. Commentators couldn't stop talking about Clark's impact, not just scoring or assists, but control. The way she shifted the game's energy, lifted her teammates' confidence, and brought the crowd alive with every touch. Meanwhile, fans online called it revenge. Not personal, but momentum. Revenge for criticism, injuries, and doubts around the roster, especially from those who thought Indiana would collapse without Sophie fully healthy. Then came the final dagger. Late in the fourth, Clark drew defenders near the logo. Dallas panicked. She fired a perfect pass to an open teammate. Basket. Game over. The arena erupted one last time. At the buzzer. Fever players celebrated emotionally. Lexie Hull hugged teammates near the bench. Clark walked off exhausted but smiling, while Paige stood quietly near midcourt after an incredible battle fans would discuss for days. But the real story wasn't just the score, it was everything around it. Injuries, tension, roster concerns, and emotion. And when the pressure peaked, when the game slipped, when fans thought Indiana might collapse, Caitlin Clark changed everything, and the basketball world watched it live.